In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can recreate animations like these that helped me get a 4-figure client just yesterday from the time of recording this video. And hopefully after watching this video, you guys can do the same. Before we start, let me tell you we'll be creating these animations on Adobe After Effects from scratch, and I'll be showing you the complete workflows I use, how I gather the assets, and as well as you'll be getting the project file which will be available for free in the description of the video. But yes, before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that I can create more videos like these. Thank you, and let's get started. Okay, so we have got the clip which we are going to be editing right now. So as you guys have seen in the scene, what we really do is that we take out Simon as a subject from the video. So the first part is that we have to actually rotoscope him out of the video. So I'm going to show you right now how exactly you can do that. So first you need to go to actually select this button, which is the roto brush tool button. So after you click this button, which is the roto brush tool, I'm going to be selecting the video which we are going to be taking out Simon from, which is this pre-com 1 video, and after that we are going to be double clicking the video. Okay, now will be going to this a layer tab where we have to select Simon and slowly actually take him out from the whole video. You can use Alt in your computer to take out parts which you do not want to add and do not want to take out and rotoscope. And you guys can actually play the video as well and check out that if there actually are no problems at all. And yeah, currently it does not seem like there is any problem at all for me. And yeah, like the rotoscope is actually well done. So yeah, we can further move on from here. Now as you can see, the subject has been actually rotoscoped from the video. Now next what we are going to do is actually duplicate this layer once again. Okay, and what we are going to do is taking out the previous layer, and we are going to be offing we are going to be shutting down the rotoscope on that layer. So we will have now two layers, one which will be rotoscoped and one which will be not rotoscoped. So we are going to be closing the I button of the second composition so that we can further use it in the future, because currently we do not need that one. And to animate we need the rotoscoped version. And yeah, next we'll be further moving on and using the assets to create the animation. So what I have actually used in the background is a grid background, which will be available for you guys in the description of the video. The project file will be available, so you guys can as well step by step check out what I was actually doing and continue to make the same video as well. Now first we're going to put some filters onto the subject. What we're going to do is add a black and white effect to the subject so that he actually transformed into a black and white version. Next we are going to be adding another effect called brightness and contrast, so that we can increase some brightness and contrast into the picture of the subject. Next up, as we are using a lighter background, so what and as our background is actually right now of a darker color, of a black color, what I'm going to do is actually use an effect called invert, which will be inverting the actual colors of the background, which was black, to white. So this is what we'll be doing next. Now I'm going to position the subject a little bit further down so that we can add the text and further we can make the video look more better. Now next we'll be going to add a short text, which is 98%, and we're going to adjust the text a bit according to the composition and according to the composition's length and height. And from here, from this tab, you can actually adjust the spacing between the sentences. We're going to make the length of the first line, font size of the first line a bit smaller as compared to the second one. Next up, we are going to actually be keeping the Helvetica New font for this part, and for the second part we're going to be choosing a font that is called Beach Bar Script. Next we'll be like increasing a bit of the size of the second sentence. So this is how currently our the whole composition is looking like. Bit of the designing is a little bit done and it looks really good, but yeah, further we can add definitely more details and more touches, and it will definitely look overall more good. We can increase a little bit the size of the text. Now what we need to do next is to animate the text. So we are actually using a typewriter effect here. And how you can actually implement a typewriter effect, what you can do is first select the text, next go to animate, select opacity. Okay, next what you need to do is actually make the opacity here go to 0 and select the keyframe button, okay, from 0. And now when until Simon says luck can be hacked, that's when we need to put the final keyframe.
98% of your life can be hacked.
That is the point. Okay, now this is the point where we are going to be keeping the next keyframe, where you guys can see further
98% of your life can be hacked, and
one by one you guys can see as well the letters are popping up, and it is actually matching and being in sync with what Simon is saying, which really makes it look really good. Okay, next, like, we're going to be adding a little bit more detail. We're going to be adding an image of a camera, which is going to make it which is going to make the scene look more better. To get the assets, what we're going to do, we're going to go to Canva, and yeah, we can search something like camera 3D or something. And yes, from the photo section, from the graphics section, I can see some designs which we can use, and what I'm going to use is this one because I like it. Now once I've got a design, now I'm going to actually placing it. I'm going to be making the size of the camera a little bit smaller and going to put it on the top right version of the video. And yeah, like right now you guys can see the video is looking
98% of your life can be hacked, and basically it's
there are definitely some things. Oh, I can see that the size of the length of the grid background is a lot shorter. What I'm going to do is actually duplicate it and combine it to create a composition so that it can be enough for the whole video. Now next up, we are going to be adding another text which is going to help us increase more detail into for this composition. We are going to actually put his name itself as well because he is already having a great brand. We are going to use again the Helvetica font for this one, Helvetica medium. And right now I'm actually thinking to actually tilt this text on the left side a bit, which we can use the rotation part here. What you can do to select rotation, click on the text and press the R button. After pressing the R button, you can increase this increase the rotation from here, and what I'm going to do is put it to -90, so it is still straight. We're going to select it and put it right here. Okay, now we're going to select it completely with the mouse and go to paragraph and then center text it so that it's center lined, so that it looks really good. Next up, what I'm thinking is to actually lower the size of the Simon part, and yeah, this looks really good. Also, what we can do to add more details, we can increase like the width of this font. What we can do is from medium we can select heavy, so that looks a lot more better as compared to before. This is just simple, like my own preferences. You guys can actually design whatever you want, whatever you guys like. And here I actually prefer to have some kind of stroke instead of a fill. So how you can actually do that is actually go to the text part. So this is like the fill part and this is like the stroke part. What you need to do is select the stroke part, okay, and deselect the fill part. Now here you can see the fill part is deselected and the stroke part is actually now active, and you guys can see that in the screen as well. It has been changed to the green color. What we want right now here is the black color right now, which will suit the video a lot more. You guys can see. So we can increase the width of the stroke as well. To increase the size of the stroke, you guys will have option here to increase the pixels of the stroke. You can increase it, so here you can do whatever it suits you. Currently I feel like 6 is fine. 6 is fine for my own preferences, and yeah, it looks really good. Now next up, what we are going to do is like implement a camera movement.
98% of your life can be
add some motion graphics and add some motion onto the whole video. So next up, what we can do is we can add 3D camera movements into the video. So I'm going to be showing you how exactly you can do that. First, you need to go to this area, go to new, and then select camera. Okay, this will be the default settings. You do not need to change anything. You can just keep it as it is, whatever the software suggests you. And as well, we'll be creating one new null object so that we can move that camera movements further from one place to another. Next up, what you guys need to do is actually make all the layers into 3D format. And to do that, you need to actually just select this button here right now, and they will be actually on 3D format. Now our composition currently is a 3D composition. Now if I'll be actually moving the camera, now all the 3D elements of the video will be actually moving itself as well. So to actually do that smoothly, what we're going to do is parent link the camera to the null. Okay, now you guys can see here I'm going to be selecting the P button, and you guys can see I have the authority of moving all the things together at the same time, because all these elements right now are 3D elements. So that is why I will be able to change the position of all of them and use them together itself. Next up, what we're going to do is like increase the size of the background. So how without like actually scaling the background itself. So what we are going to do is use an effect called CC Reptile. Okay, we are going to be adding it into the composition, and there we go. Next, you guys can see it's because we'll be moving the animation to the video onto this part. We'll be expanding the right side a bit. You guys can see it is creating a duplicate of the background itself without actually scaling. So the quality is also kept very high, and also we're going to be blending the borders so that everything looks really smooth, and there is no like you guys can see there's like no difference at all. The video is actually made really very smooth. Now what we're going to be doing is actually adding a keyframe once again into the null. Okay, we're going to be adding a position keyframe. We'll be selecting and we'll be adding it once, like Simon says, 98% of the life can be hacked, so that we get on sync onto the video, and overall it looks really good.
Can be hacked. And
okay, that is where the point he says it. Now next, from here we'll be doing it
and basically it's 3 steps to it.
You guys can see like the animation is a bit what we can say chunky, a bit sloppy. To make it more smoother, make the animation look really more good, what we're going to do is ease the keyframes. Okay, so to do that, select both the keyframes and press the F9 button on the keyboard, or you can also do it manually using your mouse. Go to keyframe assistant and select easy ease, and that's it. Your keyframes will be a lot more eased. Next up, go to this graph bar, select the graph editor, and then because mine is already selected the speed editor, if it is not selected for you, it will be usually either selected edit value graph or edit speed graph. So you need to select the edit speed graph. Next up, select this part so that we can enhance the speed of the keyframe.
And basically it's 3 steps.
There we go. So it made the animation like a lot more smoother. It made like the whole movement a lot more smoother, also because we have motion blur activated. This is how you actually activate motion blur. That's why there's a bit of motion blur as well. You guys can actually notice from here. If it is not activated, let's suppose I'm going to be deactivating it. Now once it gets rendered, you guys can see how motion blur is actually affected onto the video. You guys can see here the motion blur is actually deactivated. Actually makes the video look a lot more chunkier. So I recommend you guys to actually use motion blur onto the video as well. Now next up, what I'm going to do is actually add a brain PNG, which I'm going to do it from Canva itself as well. Okay, we have added this brain PNG, and we are going to actually rename it to brain as well, so because when you guys will be accessing the project file, it will be easier for you guys as well. Next up, to add more details, we're going to be adding drop shadow into the brain picture. And what I like is to do by adding red color into it. We're going to be increasing a little bit of the distance so it will be more visible, and yeah, that is helping us get more visibility. Definitely makes the picture a lot more popped out, which is really nice to see. Next up, to make things look a lot more fun and nice to watch, what we're going to do is add a wiggle effect into this picture. So to do that, what we're going to do is actually select P button so that position is selected. Okay, next up, press the Alt button and click this keyframe button of the position. Okay, next. As this is done, what we're going to do is write a command here, posterize time, which is named as posterize time. Okay, select this as 6. Okay, next up we're going to be wiggling it. Select the wiggle here option. Okay, and enter the data 10 9. So what 6 means is it is actually going to be like operating now on 6 frame rate. 6 will be the frame rate which will be this picture will be moving on, and wiggle x to 9 is like amount of like x-axis and y-axis the picture will be moving. Also, I would recommend you guys like to increase this minus the z-axis of the picture, because so what happens that the background of the video actually overlays above of the picture, so that is why it sometimes hidden out. So you guys can see if I am actually going to the plus side of the z-axis, the picture is being hidden out. If I'm going to the minus size, it is being popped out, because you guys can actually see from this point of view. This is because how it is operating. So this is how it is operating. So this is an example of what you guys should be actually doing. It is some good practice. It will be easier for you guys to manage as well. And this is how right now our brain animation will be looking.
And basically, it's 3 steps to it. 98% of your life can be hacked. And basically, it's 3 steps to it.
We can add more details onto it, and what I am thinking is like also adding another wiggle effect, but into the shadow fill, so that the colors as well are right now wiggling. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go to the brain picture itself as well. The effect we already added, the drop shadow. We're going to be adding a wiggle effect into the opacity. Again, selecting the Alt button and then pressing this keyframe. Okay, again here we're going to be again selecting wiggle. The amount I'm going to be doing is about again 10,5. That is the amount which I'm going to be.
It's 3 steps to it. 98% of your life can be hacked. It's 3 steps to it.
Looks like it is a lot low. What I can do is 25 and 10. Maybe this works.
And basically, it's 3 steps.
Okay, now we're going to be adding some more text. Basically, there is. So this is the text right now added, because it is already on stroke option. We are going to close that again. Select the fill option, and yes, this is like how it will be looking like. Basically, there is. We're going to be making the size of the basically a bit smaller as compared to there is. We're going to be increasing it a little bit more, and what we're going to do is we're going to be left aligning it. We're going to be left aligning the whole text. Yes, so this looks really good to me. The sizing and everything looks good. A bit what we can do is making the, instead of heavy, the bold to the Helvetica font. So yes, you can see the text looks really good here right now. Similarly, what we can do is again copy and paste. You guys can see the basically text is actually not 3D. That is why it is actually right now looking like this. What we are going to do is select the 3D button and select motion blur as well. Now you guys have seen that where's the basically text actually gone. So what happened is that it's actually gone to the start itself as well. So we need to actually position it again and move it from there to again here. Okay, that looks really good now. Now we're going to be copying the same text again, and there is 3 steps to it. We are going to be adding this. Okay, we are going to be center lining the text. Again, we're going to paragraph and center line it. What we're going to do is increase the size of the text on the 3 part. Also increasing the size of the text from here as well. Now what we're going to do is we'll be actually using stroke here instead of the fill. Yes, so it looks, yes, look, you guys can see the composition, it already looks amazing. Now I do think like we need some more details onto the composition. So what I will be actually doing is actually use some kind of a clock PNG. Now we're going to be adding the clock onto the composition. Again, making it 3D first, and further moving it. We'll be increasing the size of the composition a bit, so it looks really good. And we are also going to change the rotation a bit. Now you guys can see it has gone a bit being overlaid by the background. What we are going to do is decrease the z-axis so that the PNG can actually move on and come further of all the other objects. And like again playing with the rotation so that we are satisfied with what we are looking for. So this looks over right now good to me. To enhance some more details, what I'm going to do is add a Gaussian blur effect onto the clock so that it looks a lot more better. Now this is like overall how the composition looks. A lot more, little more details are added onto it. This is now
98% of your life can be hacked, and basically it's 3 steps to it.
okay, already looking really good. Definitely if we can add some more details, more animations, some more camera movements to it, it will definitely be a lot more enhanced experience. So first I'm going to be adding some animations onto the texts, which are right now you guys can see on the screen. The basically there is and 3 steps to it. First we are going to be adding again the typewriter effect, but a little bit different one, which I'm going to be showing you guys. Again we're going to be selecting the text, select opacity, again the same way, decreasing the opacity to 0 in the range selector, and then when he says basically that's it, that's the point. So we're going to be adding the first keyframe,
and basically it's 3 steps.
okay, that is where I think he's saying basically there is, so that is where the end of the keyframe is going to be. Next up, now what we're going to do is we're going to be actually showing it word by word. Okay, so we need to add a keyframe here. That is where the point where it shows basically. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select all the keyframes here, go to right click, go to toggle hold keyframe. Okay, once this is done, we're going to be shorting the length between the keyframes. Now let's listen about.
And basically it's 3 steps to it. And basically it's 3 steps.
Basically there is.
And basically it's 3 steps. And basically it's.
We're going to be like again going it backward.
And basically it's 3 steps to it. 90.
We want the text to be absolutely synced with what the subject is saying, because it just that way enhances the experience of the viewer.
And basically it's 3 steps. And basically it's 3.
Okay, this looks good to me. Okay, now we're going to be adding a typewriter effect. The same way opacity will be gone to 0 in the range selector. I think this is the point where he says 3 steps to it. We're going to start. Okay, so everything good looks good to me. What we can do is add some more camera movement, so overall it becomes a more enhancing experience to watch the video. We are going to be adding a keyframe here, and next up we are going to be adding a keyframe. We're actually not going to be adding a keyframe. We're going to be, because this is the part where it is actually going here. What we're going to be adding is acting a little bit zoom in effect. So we're going to be using the null keyframe itself to add the zoom, so that overall the whole composition is being zoomed. We're going to be doing some adjustments here so that the text is not gone to other places. Okay, again we're going to be using the graph editor to make it a bit more faster.
98% of your life can be hacked, and basically it's 3 steps to it.
Now we're going to be adding another like zoom out here, so it looks a lot more better.
98% of your life can be hacked, and basically it's 3 steps to it.
We're going to be adding overall more adjustment layers onto the video so that the experience is more enhanced. 1 second. But before that, what we're quick little transition onto the composition, like which was shown onto the video previously. So for that, what we are going to do is going to create a new adjustment layer. Okay, next up, because this is the point which we can see as well, it is the point where the video is being transitioned from one part to another part. Here we are going to be using the invert effect. Okay, now to make that glitch transition, what we're going to do is add some keyframes again at this point itself, the point where the camera movement is actually happening. Currently we're going to be we're going to be keeping the opacity at absolute 0. Next we're going to be moving just two frames to the next part. So what you need to do is actually select the control button as well as the right button or the left button. It depends on what area which you want to go. If you want to go to the left side, you can press control and left arrow key, and if you want to go to the right side, you can press control and right arrow key. After 2 frames, we're going to make it again 100% opacity. Again, more 2 frames, we're going to make it 0. So this is how currently
98% of your life can be hacked, and basically it's 3 steps to it. 90.
Really good, really definitely good. Now we're going to be adding some more details onto it, creating a new adjustment layer, and we're going to be adding a vignette as well as a combination of Gaussian blur to make the video look a lot more better. First, we're going to be creating this adjustment layer, and we're going to be adding a Gaussian blur effect to it. Increase the blurriness to around 20. That is fine. That will look good. Okay, next up, we're going to be masking this adjustment layer, and to do that, we're going to be going to this rectangle tool. It will be maybe round rectangle. It can be anything which you have previously already selected. So this is the next part which you only have to go, and then select the ellipse tool. After that, create a shape like this one, an oval shape. You can see that the adjustment layer has been masked into an oval shape. The oval part has actually all the blur into it, and the other part is actually left out, because we are creating a design on the outer part of the video. We're going to keep the mask from being added to actually go to subtracted. Okay, so it becomes inverted. The whole part has been cut out, and actually the blur is actually on the outer part of the video. Next up, what we're going to do is increase the bit of feather, so it becomes a bit more smoother. And next up, we're going to be adding a CC vignette effect, which will be added into the video. We're going to be like decreasing the amount of the vignette. So this is like how the video currently looks like. Decreasing the opacity, because I feel like the blur and vignette is a bit too much, and also because we do not want the text to be blurred as well, so that it will be difficult for the viewer to read. What we are going to do is we are going to drop the adjustment layer to below of the text layers. So definitely you guys can see here the text has become a lot more cleared, because it is not clearly being blurred right now. We're going to be keeping the camera below the blur, so yeah, you guys can see it just looks a lot more better. It keeps the focus of the eye overall onto the subject and what he's saying, and onto the text as well, which enhances the look of the video. Now next, I'm going to be creating another adjustment layer, and I'm going to be writing on the optics compensation effect next. Okay, where what this does is actually creates this effect which enhances, and we're going to be selecting also the reverse lens distort option button. Take this. Okay, you guys can see like it creates a warp effect overall on the video, and like as if the person is actually watching from a camera's point of view, which also like it helps in enhancing the look of the video, which is really cool. So this is one effect which I regularly use on my own videos. We're going to be creating another adjustment layer. Okay, what we're going to be doing is adding a wiggle effect onto the overall look of the video. So I'm going to be explaining you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using the exposure effect right now onto the adjustment layer, increase the exposure a bit, and then add a wiggle effect onto it. Now we're going to be adding, again pressing Alt and then select the keyframe button, where you want to add the wiggle, and again select the wiggle button. We're going to be keeping the values 8 and 0.3. So this is how
98% of your life can be hacked. And basically it's three steps to it. 98% of your life can be hacked. And basically it's three steps to it.
definitely it looks a lot more enhanced, definitely looks a lot more fun to watch right now. Now I'm going to be adding another adjustment layer. So what I'm going to do is add an effect called CC light rays. Okay. The light rays, what actually it does is creates an actual light ray into the video, and what I'm going to do is actually add colors onto it. So I'm going to be adding a green color. We're going to be adding another light ray effect onto the same area, but we're going to be adding a different color. I'm planning to add a red color right now and keep it center on the opposite side of the video. You guys can see this is how light ray effect works. It creates a ray, specific ray of a specific color. This is how it will be looking like. Also dropping a bit of intensity on both the parts. Okay, that looks fine for me. So this is the composition current.
98% of your life can be hacked. And basically it's three steps to it.
Okay, what we are going to do is actually add a wiggle effect onto the whole camera, which will enhance the experience of the viewer, so that it will look like the viewer is actually seeing from a point of view, again from a camera's point of view. So to do that, what we're going to do is again implement a wiggle effect on the position of the null. So again, to do that, press the Alt button and then select the wiggle wiggle button, and then I'm going to be adding the values of 2 and 6. There's a wiggle effect overall onto the
98% of your life can be hacked.
and now we'll be adding just one more adjustment layer, which will be eventually completing the video for us and completing this animation for us, which will be the posture time effect. And we're going to be adding our auto layer and putting the number to 16, so it becomes a little bit more smoother and more
98% of your life can be hacked. And basically it's three steps to it. 98%
And this is a design which we have made from scratch.
98% of your life can be hacked. And basically it's three steps to it.
It definitely looks amazing to watch. Now next up, what we'll be going to do is we'll be pre-composing the whole composition. And yes, okay, that will be it. We're going to be naming it as animation. Okay. And what we'll be going to do is, because we also created a copy of this video, we want to implement a transition between the animation and this video. So what we'll be going to do is create a quick little position as well as opacity combination keyframe transition. So we'll be like, and just removing the opacity and overall decreasing the position onto the length of the subject here. And again, we'll be ease the keyframes by pressing F9 and then go to graph editor, making it a bit faster. And yes, this is how the final
98% of your life can
the animation looks, and the transition overall looks really smooth and very good to watch. And yeah, and that is like how we wanted, and the animation which we wanted to create is actually been all done. The project file will be available in the description of the video for you guys to check out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Currently I'm creating this video while having a flu, and as well as it's 4 o'clock almost in the morning right now, 4 a.m. here. Hopefully you guys find this tutorial valuable, and yes, let me know in the comments what you guys actually want me to create more next. If it is something really interesting, I will definitely create a video about it soon. So yeah, hopefully see you soon guys. Thank you so much.